start. This is our moment. Turn the level way up till it's high voltage. We gon' light them up, make the world take notice. When the game face on, then it's game over. You a witness and a force to be flagship. Grinding for greatness, moving and tasking. Ruling the rest cause the movement's electric. This is our house and it's built by legends, yeah. If they coming for the spot, tell them let's rock. Standing like a brick wall to your best shot. Ain't a victory that can't be won. When you're rocking with a city made of champions. Come on. It's time to bring the thunder. Make the ground shake when we come. Come on. When we strike down, what you gonna do? Come on. Make the ground shake when we come. Yo, let's go. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? That looked right there. That was more Orioles baseball that we're more accustomed to seeing out of this team. That we didn't really see a whole lot in April. That was the first shutout of the season. What a start by Dino. It's been a while. I know some people ride Dino pretty hard, but you know what? That was a hell of an outing by Dino there tonight. To come out, the guy's got a career like above a 6 ERA in the month of April. I don't know what they do to get him ready to get the season going. It's not working. As soon as he hits May, it starts to drop off. He had a career coming into tonight. He had a career 4.10 ERA in the month of May. Now it's down to a 3.72. Hell of a start by Dino. Hell of a start. The Orioles needed it. The bats are slowly waking up. They're still hitting the ball hard, right at guys. And I know people want to be a little optimistic that they're going to start to fall. Look, when you're hitting the ball on the ground, they have nowhere to fall, if that makes sense. So hopefully they can kind of adjust just a little bit. They are leading the league in exit velocity, which is absolutely fantastic. We just got to get a little bit more going, not so much on the ground. A lot of double plays. This offense is ready to explode. The double plays seem to hold them back every time. But all in all, absolutely great start. As Joey here on Twitter says, beating New York and Kansas City is no joke. And Joey, I 100% agree. 100% agree. They, two good teams that I don't want to say we struggle with. We struggle with Kansas City, but for some reason with New York, we just played New York well. And I looked at the stats here. They're like 17-12 against the Yankees since 2023, while only hitting like 205 against them. And the Yankees are like, I want to say they're like 240-ish against us, but we find a way to win. That's what good ball teams do. They find a way to win. We saw that tonight. One swing changed the game. They had a lot of good swings tonight. I'm not going to take anything away from anybody. Ryan O'Hearn has been on fire. He's kind of, I think he's seen the calls for him to step up and become that kind of leader. Him and Cedric Mullins both, they're filling that role that we were needing in the lineup. Very glad to hear they both had the idea of coming in and having a players only meeting before that New York series. Look, the offense isn't scorching the ball by any means, but they're starting to get a little bit more of a timely hitting. Mountie stepped up tonight, had another nice double. Getting him going would ignite this offense a little bit. And I don't want to say he's like, I guess you could say he's not hitting, but Mountie's a big part of this team. And getting him going only elevates everybody. Obviously, you don't want anybody in your lineup, kind of down and out like Mountie is at times, but his defense can carry you. It's such an overlooked thing, especially with infielders nowadays. Our infield's athletic, and they're going to get to some balls that they probably shouldn't have, and they're going to make throws off balance. And if you don't have a very good first baseman there to try and pick that ball, you're going to just add base runners. And I think we can all agree that our pitching staff is not in a position to just inherit free base runners. If you can get that guy out with Mountie's defense, you kind of got to leave him out there. So you need him to get going. Yes, we need some more RBIs out of both. I agree. If we can get O'Neill back, apparently he started up some baseball activity, so it's nice to see him getting going. I'm an O'Neill fan. I think he helps this ball club a lot. But the pitching is something that we got to talk about a little bit. We've had some pretty quality starts here lately. Sagano is starting to come into form here. If Dean can replicate what he's had lately, if we can get something a little bit going out of Cade, I'm still a Cade believer. He needs a pitch to get right-handers out. That's his biggest downfall. And I pulled this up the other day, and I put it on Twitter, and I don't know how many people saw it, but Cade Povich is actually, by ERA, among qualified pitchers, the second best pitcher in baseball against left-handed hitters. So as a left-handed starting pitcher against left-handed batters, he's the second best ERA, only to Tariq Skubal. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up and share it. Because he's better than Crochet. He's better than Nick Lodolo, which I didn't realize Nick Lodolo was doing that well. So let me see if I can end up sharing. I'm going to screw this up if I do that. But anyway, so Povich, 1.76 ERA against left-handed hitters since the start of 2024. He's allowed 6 earned with 2 home runs, 11 walks. I'd like to see that get down a little bit. With 23 strikeouts. You'd like to see that get up a little bit, but a 217 average, which is the third best right now among all left-handed starters. Skubal, obviously, a 180 average. Garrett Crochet, a 209, and then you got Cade Povich with a 217. So he's right there. He's also got the slugging's a 374. Ranger Suarez is at a 429, and then Lodolo's at a 293, and Crochet's at a 287, Skubal at a 227. But the fact that we can sit here and put Cade Povich's name against left-handed pitchers or against left-handed hitters with the quality of guys right there on that list, that's saying something. So if they can get Cade going against righties, they've got something to work with here, and that's going to be important for them is to get him going. And look, at worst case, he's still young. I don't think they would ever pull the plug this early. At worst case, Cade shows you enough where he can maybe move into that, Brian Mattis role, or even Keegan Aiken role, a left-handed starter that moves to the bullpen, and he's very, very effective against lefties. I still have high hopes for him in the starting rotation, but look, if they can get that settled in, and you can get this team at or just above 500 at the break, and then you get Tyler Wells back for the bullpen. Andrew Kittredge sounds like he's going to be back in maybe just a couple weeks. He's going on a rehab assignment, I think at the beginning of next week, they said. And then you got Bradish not far behind. Grayson at some point this year, they're saying. I mean, if you finish the year, ideally, let's think about this. You finish the year with Sagano and who am I thinking of here? Sagano, Kramer, because late year Kramer is very, very good. So you got Sagano, Kramer, and then you bring back Grayson, and you have Bradish, and then you have Cade Povich, or Albert Suarez is going to be back soon too. They've got options, and I don't think Kyle Gibson probably is going to last the entire season here. I think he's just going to be kind of used to just eat some innings, and then we're going to see some of the guys that are on this team for a reason. But they just got to scrap it out. Scrap it out until some of these guys can start getting back. You add Kittredge into the back end of this bullpen right now. You put Kittredge, Brian Baker, Cano, and Batista at your 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you have Sir Anthony Dominguez and Gregory Soto that you can interchange in. It's a really, really good bullpen. You got Keegan Aiken that you can kind of go into. I don't know. I would assume Matt Baumann is probably let go. I don't know what the status of Perez would be when some of these guys start coming back. Perez he's gonna have to pick it up, but he's got stuff. So whoever they choose, it doesn't matter. The back end of this bullpen is going to be stellar. Come trade deadline, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do here at the trade deadline. And I say that because I think Mike realizes he screwed up. Last deadline was okay. They acquired Zach Eflin. It really helped. I completely forgot about Zach Eflin. Good Lord. Can you imagine a starting rotation when this is healthy? Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez, Kyle Bradish, Sagano, and Dean Kramer. And then you have potentially Tyler Wells in the bullpen with Kittredge and Soto and Dominguez and Aiken and Cano and Batista. My Lord. And Brian Baker. Like, all of a sudden, this pitching staff doesn't look that bad. Now, I'm not going to say that, some of these guys that are injured are going to come back and be that effective. But if they are, like, all of a sudden we go from a pretty pathetic pitching staff to that staff could win a playoff series. That bullpen could win a playoff series. So things are okay. They're okay. It's all just going to ride on the offense, in my opinion. Offense is showing signs of life, not there yet. But I think we can all collectively agree tonight was probably our most complete game of the season. Obviously, when you throw a shutout, things are really going your way. But just the way that they played defense, we saw some pretty good defensive plays. Base running was fairly good. No mistakes or anything like that. I felt like Adley behind the plate with a pitch selection and framing and whatnot was pretty good. Dino looked great on the mound. Felix, you can start to feel Felix's energy a little bit. He's in the game now. It's he's starting out 96, and you can tell as the game's kind of coming on, then you're seeing that 98, and it's always that last pitch at 99. Like he's starting to feel himself. He's starting to get comfortable as well. So these are great things to see. Post-game pig. It's been a while, Joe. I'll be dead honest with you. I've been falling asleep on the couch after a lot of baseball this week. I don't know what kind of coach scheduled all these practices and games for a 6-year-old clinic, but I'm that coach. So we had a game on Friday, a game on Saturday, a game on Monday, a practice on Tuesday, a scrimmage game on Tuesday, a practice on Thursday, and we have a game tomorrow morning. So I've been running myself ragged, coming home, passing out on the couch. So I've just, I've been looking at some of my streaming numbers here in the hours watch time, and I'm just like, man, that's just dwindling away here. I gotta go live again. Yes, completely agree, Zach. You got to play Jackson. Oh my God. I'm a little critical of Jorge Mateo, and probably more than I need to be, completely honest. I'm more critical than I need to be. Mateo is a fine bench player. It's when they force him into the lineup over Jackson Hollidays when I really start to lose my mind, because, look, you held Jackson down because you wanted him to face more left-handed pitching. And now he's getting an opportunity, and we've only really faced one good lefty all year, maybe two, right? Crochet and Skubal. But he's had 7 other opportunities to face, decent left-handed pitching to kind of get his at-bats up, and then you just don't play him. Like, what was the excuse for originally when you kept him down? That was for he could see left-handed pitching, but now he's here and you don't play him. Like, the kid's good, man. The kid is good. What did he go tonight? Let me look this up real quick, because I'll be completely honest with you, I was asleep. Middle of the game there, I was asleep on the couch because I'm tired. So coming into tonight, his dad was telling him about some things that he saw in his stance, right? So coming into tonight, he was 7 for 20 after listening to his dad. And what did we get out of him tonight? 1 for 3. So he's 8 for 23, right? You got to have that in the lineup. You got to get this kid reps. He's not going to get any better unless he has reps. What are we looking at here? I'm not very good at so we got 8 divided by 23. What are we looking at here? 347 since dad showed him something or told him about something that he sees in his swing. Keep the kid in the lineup every day. Keep the kid in the lineup. I know, look, Jorge Mateo is hitting lefties. That's fine. There's other positions that you can put Jorge Mateo in right now. Jackson Holliday needs to play every single day, in my opinion. And Mark, yes, I completely agree with you. Rivera just seems like he seems almost just like Urias, where like you don't expect much out of him, but he just finds a way to have a quality at bat every time he's up there. And he's been around the league for a while. He's made some postseason appearances. He's played in a World Series. He has that experience, and he's a veteran, but he just gives you those quality at bats. He's a great guy to have. And honestly, look, if I'm a big Ryan Mountcastle fan, I really am. I picked Ryan to hit 30 home runs this year. I don't think he gets to that point now, but Rivera is a guy that you could keep on the roster if you wanted to exercise one of Mountcastle's options to send him back AAA to figure it out. Because he just hits, man. It doesn't matter, righty or lefty. He's just like Urias. He just sticks his nose in there, and he puts the barrel on the ball. It's just like Ryan O'Hearn, too, right? Those three guys, they're just grinders. They're not like, super freak athletes like Jackson Holiday or Gunnar Henderson, anything like that. But they're just grinders, man. Those are winning baseball players on a team. And I love to have all three of them. I really do. It's impossible to keep those three in the same lineup, though. That's where it gets tricky. So when some of these guys are starting to come back, so when Tyler O'Neill comes back, who goes down, right? Probably maybe Dylan Carlson, right? But when Cowser comes back, okay, what do you do then, right? Because now you got Cowser, O'Neill, Kjerstad, Mullins. They all got to play, right? So now you might lose some of your DH spots. Okay, well now your Urias is going to lose some spots. What happens with Mateo? So it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. I mean, and then like Randall says, what are they going to do with Mayo? They say Mayo's close. But look, right now Rivera is a major league hitter, and he's going to give you major league at bats. Could Mayo be a game changer? Could. He needs the reps to figure that out. Do the Orioles have time for him to figure it out? That's the question. That's the pickle they put themselves in. And the Red Sox are in the same kind of pickle. They've got a ton of absolute studs in AAA too. They've got good big league players right there with it. So it's not like you just don't have room for everybody. And Mayo is kind of stuck in that thing. So, could he play over Urias and Rivera? Yeah, certainly. He could do it every day. Are you going to get the production out of him within that first month or so as you can get out of the other guys? It remains to be seen. I would probably say no. Could he? Yeah, definitely could. But I mean, most young guys come up and struggle right away. So it's we've said it before. I know a lot of people are hot on Mike Elias right now. His job ain't easy. It ain't easy because these guys are all good ball players, and he's got to find room for all of them. That's the hard part. Jackson could be the All-Star this year. Honestly, I'll be dead honest with you. Early in the season, I mean, we got Andres Jimenez tormented the Orioles that first series, and I'm just like, man, this guy's going to be an All-Star again. Like, he's just fitting in well, but he's been poop. Since that first series, he's been poop. So, look, second base is kind of open. Altuve's not there anymore. There's still some good players. But, like, the Yankees aren't going to send Jazz. Jazz stinks. So it's right there for Jackson Holiday if he wants to be an all-star. Keep doing what you're doing, and it's right there. You're an athletic freak. You're starting to get comfortable in defense, and you're catching the eyes. You already have the name. So, I mean, if you hit pretty decent, like, you're going to win the popularity contest. So it's right there for him. It definitely is right there. Birdland Sports says Mayo needs to be traded for pitching. It's possible they go that route, Sean. It's very possible. I wouldn't hate it. It's like with any prospect, right? You get excited. You want to see what he can do for your team. But at this point, like, the Orioles are at this point where they're like, how can we make this current team better? And the offense has been pretty bad, getting better. Could he help that? Yes. Could he also fetch a decent arm? Yes. So that's a decision they have to make. What scares me is, I've seen it myself. Some other scouts have seen it too. Mayo has a hitch in his swing. He's got a hitch in his swing. What scares me is someone else is going to fix it, and that's when you traded away, the next Yordan Alvarez. Not comparing the two, but the Dodgers traded Yordan Alvarez for a reliever, Josh Fields, I think it was, and then he took off because they fixed his swing. He was a 20-year-old kid. I think he had just played like 1 year of affiliated ball or something like that. So you didn't know really what you were going to get. Mayo in a different position, but I fear that somebody would fix that little hitch when he gets to the big leagues, and it's just game over for everybody. So that remains to be seen. But yes, Mayo is going to help this ball club in some way, shape, or form this season, whether that be being traded for an arm, hopefully for the right arm, or coming up and being an everyday player. So I'm excited for him. I mean, I think he's going to have a good career, whether that's here or somebody else. Somebody's going to give him a good career somewhere. What do I think about Elias saying he's in no rush to make a move based off the first month of the year? I think that's fair. It's fair. So there's balances around the league. Like some teams are pretty quick to kind of pull the plug on some guys. We saw the Reds send their closer back to AAA who had 65 saves in the last 2 seasons. Diaz, he had a 12 ERA this year. Not too many outings. The Orioles are not ready to give up on Charlie Morton. And look, money was probably involved. Diaz is still in his arbitration years, making $800,000, $900,000 a year, and Charlie Morton's making $15 million. Obviously, that's way different, right? Way different scenarios. But some teams they do that. Last year we seen Texas send Evan Carter down. Texas just sent Jake Berger down, and Jake Berger was a guy that I actually wanted to for the Orioles to sign. I thought the guy, he played great in Miami last year, and he's a good power bat. Struggling a little bit. Texas sent him down. Now they told him when they sent him down, you're only going down here for a couple weeks. We want to get you right, kind of reset. You're going to come back. So could Mike Elias follow that route? Sure, he definitely could. The difference is who you're going to do it with. So the pitching side of it, the Orioles don't have that next guy up ready to go, kind of the pitching thing. We see it in Brandon Young right now. Could Brandon Young take over some things? Sure. Could he take it over to the long term? I don't know. You don't want to just kind of throw him to the wolves, The hitting wise, right? So if they wanted to send Mountcastle down for a little bit, they're protected there. You've got several good players, especially when they're healthy. O'Neill, Kerstad, and you can bring up Mayo. You had Rivera in AAA as a backup plan. Ryan O'Hearn is a great backup plan. Ramon Urias getting more bats wouldn't hurt this team. So they were protected in the lineup. They're just not protected in the pitching rotation. So Mike has to kind of skate that. I think everybody in this organization still believes in Ryan Mountcastle. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying that they think he's going to be like a 275 hitter or anything. I think they can get 20 to 25 home runs out of Ryan Mountcastle and 65 to 75 RBIs. Even still after a slow start, I think they still believe they can get that out of him. So I think his leash is a lot longer than somebody else's where, I don't really know who else you would get rid of. Mateo, but what he does, like, do you have anybody else that can really run? Not really. You could use Vermeil Manchin, I think it was, Manchin, as just a hitter, but I don't know. It's just, I think they play their matchups of what they want to do. I don't think Mike's ready to pull the plug because he just doesn't have that next guy like some of the other teams do. And then plus he's in a different position. Like these teams that are making those moves aren't teams that are expected to be in the World Series. So Mike just can't make these moves and then just hope the guy plays good. You know what I mean? Like he's got to have somebody that can come and step in and do the job. Red Sox getting bit by the injury bug too. Yeah, Buehler always gets hurt, man. I like Casas. Casas is a weird dude. He is a weird dude, but he's a good baseball player. He's a really good baseball. He's a fun guy to watch. So, look, if you're going to get bit by the bug, April's a good time to get it done. Beginning of May. After that, whatever. Good energy at the yard tonight. That's what I like to hear, Chad. That's what I like to hear. It looked fun. I think tomorrow, being a night game, hopefully they show up. National TV on Fox. I hate playing on Fox. I feel like the Orioles never win when they play on Fox. So we'll see. Do you think we're going to pay these guys? Do you think we're going to trade all? I don't think we're going to trade all of them. You can't pay all of them. They have several guys that are good and they're young. Can't pay all of them. Who they're going to pick, that I don't know. with Westberg and Gunnar and Jackson all being Boras clients, it's going to be tough. Griffo Farrell is playing pretty dang good. Frederick Benkosime is a trade piece that they could use right now. Look, I think their first contract's up in 2028. We've got time. If I'm Jackson Holiday right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not signing anything because I'm platooning against left-handed pitching. So they're gonna have to walk their tightrope and figure out what they're gonna do. But I think they try. I would say if you put on a board Westberg and Holiday and Gunnar, I think I could comfortably say 2 of them would probably get signed. And I say that because I'm not 1,000% sure they're going to re-sign Adley Rutschman. And that's going to free up 60 to 80 to 90 million that you would have spent on him. That might be used between like Kauser or somebody else. You may assign, I tell you a prime candidate to get an early extension that probably nobody's really thinking about is Samuel Basallo. They're going to probably try to sign him fairly early, more because the Latin guys will take the money earlier. I mean, you see like Acuna took, a lot of guys in the minor leagues that are getting ready to come up, like Christian Campbell and stuff, they'll take quick money and set, Gunnar coming up and kind of winning Rookie of the Year. That really shoots the price way up. So if they get Basallo before or when he makes his debut and say, hey, we'll just buy out all your arbitration for $60 million, right? So next year you make $1 million, next year you make $3 million, and then the year after that you make $7 million or something like that. And they break it down to where like those last 2 years he's making like 20-ish a year. I bet you could sign him for that. And they may go 10 years or something like that, and they'll break it all down. But he's a guy that I don't think anybody's really paying attention to. That's in their long-term plans. I think they tried to get him an extension early. Looking at the projected draft picks you commented on last night, Bernard, if they don't take a pitcher and one of those 3, the first 31 picks, this place will go nuts. Take that orange. I put this back on the other day. I haven't been live. I put it back on the other day. I said, you know what? This is my team. I don't give a shit about the color. I'm putting it back on. So Randall, right now, look, Alcantara has been terrible. He's got over an 8.3 ERA right now. He sucks right now. You would think his value would be at an all-time low. It's not, because teams know what he provides you. And the problem with Riley is Riley's hurt. They haven't said. I'm pretty sure Riley's getting Tommy John, so he's off the table. Beavers, his stock seems to be dropping when you look at some of these other places and stuff. We'll see about that. Bradfield, I think they really want to hang on to Bradfield and see what they got out of him. But Alcantara, I feel like you're going to have to pay a premium. Bradfield's going to be one of that premium. If it's not going to be Mayo, we'll see though. We'll see, man. We will see. Tim, thanks, man. A super chat. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You want me to take it off now? I'll take it off because you asked me to. Hang on. Now I got to mute this so you all don't have to hear it. There. Probably doesn't sound as good either. But no, I did have this on for a couple days now. I haven't been live. I haven't had time. But I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the $4.99, man. So Birdland, that's the problem, is they're going to hold off, man, because they know he's not that bad, and he's going to figure it out. And look, the Dodgers have already had Glasnow go down, Snell go down. The Padres are going to make a run for it. The Diamondbacks are one of the best offenses in baseball. They're going to make a run for him too. The Yankees need some pitching. They're going to make a run too. If Buehler goes down and Brian Biello doesn't go back down, Boston's going to make a run for him too. Sandy Alcantara is going to be the hot ticket, and it's going to cost a fortune to get him because all these teams need pitching now, right now, because of injuries. I don't see the Orioles pulling the trigger because it's going to cost Kobe Mayo. It really is. Kobe Mayo and some. Just because the price of everyone else that needs a pitcher all going to look his way first. So I think the Orioles end up ultimately passing on that one. And the Marlins are smart. They're going to play it out to the very last second because they're going to try and get the biggest package they can get. But here's also another scenario too. The Marlins are hot. They're hot and they're close to being what Detroit was. A young team who is maybe a year away from contending. Not winning a division or anything, but contending. Getting that last wild card spot. Why would they want to trade Sandy? Right? Why would Detroit want to trade Skubal last year? They didn't, and look what happened. They're one of the best teams in baseball. I'm not saying the Marlins are on that same route, but the Marlins are close. And what kind of message does that send to your organization and your players when you ship off your ace when you're maybe just a year away? So I don't know. I really don't even know if they even trade the guy. You know, it's going to be a sticky situation. It's going to be a sticky situation. I already hit that one. My bad. Mountie versus O'Hearn. O'Hearn should be getting signed to a 3-year deal as soon as possible. I like Ryan. I don't know. He's 31? I wouldn't hate it. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't hate it. I think a lot of people looked at O'Hearn as a guy that was blocking people. And now it's like he's earned his spot. So I don't think people really care as much that he's blocking anybody. I wouldn't hate it. I really wouldn't. It solidifies first base if not Mountcastle, but Mayo doesn't work out. Where you kind of start to get sticky is if Adley moves or if Basayo moves there full time, or even Ethan Anderson, because everybody's first. They all play first and they're all left-handed. That's the sticky part. Mountcastle still got some value. He's still going to bring a lot to the table. He's under control through 2027. He could fetch a pretty decent bullpen arm right now, I feel like, because he's a guy that teams are going to look at and say he's still got a little bit of pop and he's got control. So we'll see. We shall see. I know I'm picking Jackson Holliday. I had to pick 2 players. If I had to pick 2 players out of those 3 that we were talking about earlier, Holliday, it was Holliday, Gunnar, and Westberg. I think you can't let Gunnar Henderson walk out the door. You just can't. Not after losing Manny Machado. It broke this fan base for a while, and then you allowed Nick Markakis to leave over 1 year. Broke this fan base again. You can't let Gunnar Henderson walk out the door. I still need to see a little bit more from Jackson Holliday. And the other reason why I say that is because a guy named if you guys aren't familiar with the name of Scotty Kingery, Scotty got a pretty decent deal. He was a highly touted prospect. He was a damn good player in the minors. And he got a fairly decent deal out of Philadelphia, bought out his arbitration, and he's still in AAA. And I want to say he signed that deal in like 2017 or 18 or something like that. And he came up, had his cup of coffee, and he stunk. Just stunk. I don't think Jackson Holloway's going to stink, but I'm just right this second, and on May 2nd, I'm reluctant to say that he's the guy that I want to give a deal to. Now, you asked me that same question in September, I'm more than likely going to say, yeah, Jackson Holliday and Gunnar Henderson. We'll let Westberg walk. Even though I think Westberg's a good player, I think it just comes down to age and versatility. And I just think those other 2 guys just give you a little bit more versatility than Westberg does. Plus, you just got a lot of talent coming up in the minors that could replace Westberg. So I don't know. We'll see. I fully agree with this, Birdland. Ryan O'Hearn is the heart and soul of this team right now, and I'm glad that he realized it. I don't know if somebody got in his ear and was just like, hey, like, people think you're the guy, like, let's go be the guy. I don't know if maybe last year he was like, man, I'm still kind of new here. Maybe I shouldn't speak up. I'm glad he's seeing it now and realizing that he is the guy, because it's paying off. Not only for him, but for the team. It's paying off. Same with Cedric. And if Cedric keeps playing this good, let's be completely honest with ourselves. If Cedric keeps playing this good, you have to keep him. What scares me is if you let him get to free agency, the Dodgers are going to throw a crap ton of money at him. or the Yankees, because they both need a real center fielder. Trent Grisham, Andy Pages, hot and cold, but if you could get Cedric Mullins over Andy Pages, I'm pretty sure the Dodgers are going to do it, right? And they're going to overpay. It's a tough call because you have Bradfield who might potentially be ready. Tough to be seen right now because he's hurt. I haven't really heard much what he's got going on either. But I mean, maybe a 2-year deal for Mullins, and just to give yourself a security blanket. At the very, very, very worst case, he's your fourth outfielder. I would prefer him as my fourth outfielder over some of the other options we've ran out there over the years. So I don't know. Randall, I hope that's not the case. I think Boris is coming around. I also think he's probably on the way out. By the time it comes, I mean, we're looking 5 years from now, 2030, when they got to deal with Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holiday. 2030. I think Boris might be on the way out. I want to say he's in his mid-70s now. Let's see. I can't spell tonight. How old is Scott Boras? 72. So you're looking at a guy 77 years old. He's still in good shape. But at 77, like, how much longer is he going to want to do it? So maybe somebody takes over Boris Corp, and it's not Boris, and maybe they have a better shot. I don't know. What are the chances I do a stream on Sunday dressed as a character? Probably 0. One, I don't have anything related to Star Wars. I like Star Wars. It's funny, is I was actually messing with, do I have it on here? I was messing with one of these, and I don't remember what I did with it. Which one was it? Not that one. I forget what I was doing. I was messing with one of these. This one. I screwed it all up. But anyway, it was like, it had like the stars background, and like, the transition was this lightsaber and stuff. I found it was a complete overlay pack. I found it was free, and I was trying to put it together, and I screwed it all up, but 0 for me dressing up. More than likely, I'm actually going to be attending probably the Coach Pitch All-Star game. I've had 3 of my kids on my team selected this year, so I'm probably going to go up there and watch them, cheer them on, hang out with their parents and whatnot. And that game is at 1 anyway, so I'm probably going to miss the start of the O's game as it is. I'm not letting Holiday leave this damn place. Right. I would probably say the same at the end of this year. Right now, I think it's just a touch too early. He's definitely a champion. Yeah. If he makes the All-Star team, he's going to put himself right there for a nice large contract and make it even harder on the O's. Yes, Dad is in his ear. I'm hoping Dad goes in Ethan's ear a little bit more once he gets drafted and kind of lets Jackson just play a little bit. But it seems to be working right now too, so maybe keep him around both. I don't know. I missed one here. I don't see Elias giving any of the young guys a reason to stay with the O's. Yes, I agree. Jackson Holiday not playing every single day. I don't want to say it pisses him off, but it more than likely probably pisses him off. It definitely pisses his father off. So at this current time, I would say signing Jackson Holiday to an extension is probably near the 10% range. Appreciate that. Yeah, I got a couple of some studs, man. I got one kid going to the 7U team, and I got 2 kids going to the 6U team. One of them just turned 6 on Monday, so he was 5 years old, kind of lighting the league up this year. And we got a decent little team. I got the youngest team in the league, and we've got some really good guys that can swing the bat. So I'm pretty excited about these kids. My goal is to kind of keep them around for a while together. And grow with them, up through like 10, 12U, and then maybe start like a tournament team and stuff. I know I've been coaching the parents between football and baseball for like the last 3 years, so trying to keep the kids as tight knit as we can. I don't care about winning. It's 6 or 7. I'm here to kind of grow a family of kids that just get better. Long term, make the high school team, in the region that we're in really good, so they can win a state championship or something like that. That's my goal. But we'll see. Can we replace Brandon Hyde with Matt Holliday? I don't know. Does Matt want to do it is the question. I think he was supposed to be a bench. Was it this year? He was supposed to be a bench coach, maybe last year. And he stepped down like last minute. And when, with Ethan potentially getting drafted, they still have a daughter who's just a little bit younger than Ethan. They got a lot going on. And I don't know if Matt is ready to kind of be away from all that. I think right now he's enjoying what he's doing. He's very knowledgeable and he could be a fantastic hitting coach. I just don't know if we see it just yet, if that makes sense. I agree, Zach. I really do. Part of me wonders if it really is Hyde or if he's, look, they all meet and they get handed a piece of paper saying like, hey, these are the matchups. These are the numbers. This is what he's done in the last 7 games, 14 games, 21 games, blah, blah, blah. This is what he's done against this guy in his career. Like, they go all through that and they say, this is probably the best lineup. Right now, Brandon Hyde still is the guy who's to put the pen to the paper, but I feel like for the most, I would say probably 75% of that lineup is fixed by the computer, and then Hyde gets his chance to plug in 2 or 3 guys. That would be my guess. I don't know if that's a fact. I've never been told anything like that. It's just kind of how I see things playing out, but I don't know if that would fix anything. It depends on who else was hired, and it really depends on how much say Mike Elias has. Mike likes Brandon Hyde, and Brandon Hyde's a yes guy. There's no sugarcoating that. And if Mike would bring somebody else in, they're probably going to be a yes guy too. So if Mike says, play Jorge Mateo or Jackson Holliday, I don't think it matters who's putting that pen to the paper because they're just going to listen to Mike. Now, I could be 1,000% wrong on that. I'm wrong all the time. But that's just how I see it. We just don't know. Like, we don't get enough context. 1 from the Orioles, 2 from Mike, and 3 from like the beat reporters. And they ask the questions. They do. They ask the hard questions. They just don't get the hard answer. So that's the tough part. But we'll see. I don't know. I honestly think we'll find out by the end of this year. I don't 1,000% know if they redo Brandon Hyde's contract. I believe it's up after the end of this season. I'm not 1,000% sure they renegotiate it. I think they may let him walk. And if they win, get into the playoffs or something like that, I think they let him walk and get a decent salary somewhere else. And I think they just go in a different direction. I don't know if they do it mid-season this year because, it comes down to experience. Drew French only has 2 years experience. Tim Cousins, no real managing experience. He's the bullpen coach. Trinos, no manager experience. And then Buck Britton only has minor league manager experience. So you would basically have an entire staff full of rookies and then a second-year pitching coach, and that's it. I don't know if they're ready to do that. So, but I could be wrong. Could be the corniest comment I ever make on this channel. Mike Elias and Brandon Hyde. Which one is really Jackal and which one is really Hyde? That is slightly corny, but a good question at the same time too. It's only corny because the Hyde and Hyde. But I don't really know. I think Brandon has a good bit of say, and I think Mike trusts Brandon to have a good bit of say. I think they both trust the computer as well, if that makes sense. I played for Brandon Hyde. He has a good feel for the game. So, I don't know. I feel like he knows what he's doing, but I also feel like they trust the numbers maybe a little bit more than they should. Both of them. Elias, I'll say all 3 of them. Elias, Sig, we already knew Sig likes the numbers, but Elias, Sig, and Hyde, I think they trust the numbers just a little too much. But it seems lately, what we've seen with the lineups here and whatnot, they're getting a little bit away from what we've seen since the mid-2023 with the righty-lefty stuff. So maybe they're kind of getting back to, it's not working. Let's just go back to regular baseball and see what happens. Be great if they do. Be really great if they do. Lately, it just seems like it is working. So I don't know. We'll see how they keep going here through the end of June or something like that if they keep playing matchups. But if they keep these good lineups out, reverse split guys, and they face the guys they're supposed to, Kerstad and Holiday are in the lineups against lefties, I think maybe they're breaking away from the numbers just a touch. Jazz kid number 1 overall, let him walk out the door. I don't know if they'll let him. I just don't know right this minute. Sorry, my wife's yelling at my kids. I was trying to hear it. We'll see. Don't know. But what time is it? Oh, my God, 10:15. I do have to be up early. Got to get up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, get ready for another game tomorrow. I didn't realize I was on here for 45 minutes, but I appreciate every single one of you coming in here and hanging out tonight. It's been a while since I've gone live, so I just wanted to get back on here and kind of get in front of a camera again. Get the YouTube watch hours going back up. If you guys aren't over on YouTube, Pigtown Sports is the same name everywhere. Go ahead and drop me a sub. That's where most of the content goes. If you're into TikTok, I do a lot of short form. I'm on TikTok. I don't want to say regularly. I drop at least probably 3 to 4 short form videos a week. So if you're bored and you still like to keep up with the Orioles content, I don't really post shorts on my YouTube channel. I post them on TikTok. I don't like the whole interchanging thing. I think it screws up the algorithm, but we'll see. We'll see. One last comment here. Ramon Laureano has been a godsend for the Orioles. I was a big fan of him. When he's been a good player his entire career. He's a guy, if you get him going, he's a damn good backup. And he hit, 294 last year with the Braves or something like that to end out the season. So he's a guy that if you get going, he can give you some quality at bats and whatnot. So, but on that note, again, thank you to Tim Malarkey who sent a $4.99 super chat over on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Randall, Zach, Birdland, Tim, who else did I miss tonight? Sean coming over, Mark Oz, all you guys coming out and hanging out tonight, chat on Facebook. I really appreciate it. I'm going to hop off here. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening, and we may chat again tomorrow. I don't know, but peace.